best way to predict the future is to create it. And that's a quote by Peter Joker on Atlantic Television Network. Good day, viewers. Welcome to a fresh episode of Atn Business on Atlantic Television Network right here in the city of Port Harcourt. From the end of the show, you can be rest assured of being informed accurately of financial activities around the world. I am your host, Wendy Aguma. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we reel out the...
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring the pop news, live analysis, expert discussion.
Welcome back. Now let's go into market reports, local and international business news for today. Federal government condemned the destruction of the Nigerian Communication Commission in Digital Economy. Bosun Tijani confirmed that the facility, which was set to launch next week, was looted and set ablaze. Online videos showed individuals carrying away computers, chairs and other valuable items from the facility located in Nigeria's second most populous state. The incident occurred during the nationwide protest against bad governance, with reporting widespread hunger, soaring unemployment rates, and limited access to quality education, amongst others. Licensed customer agents stayed away from work and did not clear any consignment on Thursday following the protest against hunger by Nigerians, leading to the non-clearance of cargoes at the port, according to reports. This was even as customs officers and members of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria had more sent from work. Explaining the development, a licensed customs agent, Mr. John Paul Ejogu, said it would be risky to take delivery of containers and be on the road at a time of protest because of criminal elements. The Deputy National President of the National Association of Government-Approved Freight Work Forwarders, Mr. Nnadi Ugochukwu, confirmed that there were no activities at the port. The former Vice President of the Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents, Mr. Kayode Farinto, particularly on the Abuja-Kaduna route. The Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection of the NCAA, Michael Achumugu, insisted that there was adequate security at the airport while speaking on the situation at the facilities. He confirmed the halt and train operation, but also the metro services, reflecting the widespread impact of the current unrest. Meanwhile, it was observed that passengers of different airlines trooped to the Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos early to avoid possible violence that might erupt as a result of the protest. While the airport environment appears empty with vehicles barely able to cancel their flights for different reasons, ranging from weather and impact of the protest. Major commercial areas, including banks and markets, were shut down on Thursday. The protest, fueled by growing discontent over governance issues, led to disclosure that raised concerns about economic impact and security. Banks along Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos remain closed as of the time of filing this report. Similarly, many deposit money banks in Abuja, Nasarawa and Niger states were closed. A banker from Access Bank, who simply identified himself as Timitayo, explained that the bank's management prioritized employee safety over operations. Similarly, a banker at First Bank stated that the management of the bank instructed employees to work from home in Ikeja as traders did not open for business on Thursday, leaving customers due to fear of violence erupting from the protests, and major markets in Buhari was also affected, with many residents opting for panic buying instead of venting that are still in their homes. People were not moving about. Business owners worry protests will affect productivity. Along the popular airport road, banks including GT Bank, Stanbic IBTC, United Bank of Africa and Zenith Bank were shut with staff asked to stay home. It was gathered that the instruction not to open was based on the directive from the headquarters of all banks. Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has issued a directive to its members to stay clear of the ongoing nationwide protests, which began on Thursday and have reportedly led to discovery, and urged members to support these efforts by remaining calm and focused on their business. The national president further appealed to Nigerians to pursue dialogue, constructive engagement, and mutual understanding in addressing their grievances. He underscored that this is not the time for aggressive actions or destructions, but rather for peaceful resolution and cooperation. Shatima warned against being misled into chaos by what he described as faceless individuals who lack genuine concern for the nation's welfare. He pointed out that credible protests are typically organized by recognized groups with clear leadership, whereas protests led by anonymous entities often carry a higher risk of violence and disruptions. The IP-man leadership call to avoid participation in the protest reflects a broader concern for public safety and the stability of Nigeria during this period of economic transition. The association is advocating for a measured approach to addressing grievances, emphasizing the need for dialogue over conflict. Federal government savings in its non-oil excess account increased by 304.1% in the first year of the current administration. This is according to an analysis of the Federation Allocation Accounts Committee report released by the National Bureau of Statistics between $1 trillion naira into the account between July 2022 and June 2023, while 5.40 billion naira or 304.1% within the review period. Funds made anytime the country made excess revenue from non-oil exports fueled by the unification of the foreign exchange markets and fuel subsidy removal. The savings account, domiciled with the central bank and managed by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, is utilized when revenue is low. Established in 2004 by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, the ECA functions as a natural resource fund, primarily serving as a fiscal buffering during economic downturns. This formula currently allocates 52.68% of revenue to the federal government, 26.72% to state and 20.60% to local governments, and 13% for derivation, formula outlined by the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. For instance, the government removed 228 billion naira from the non-oil excess revenue account to fund the 2023 general elections. The loan that was taken for the 2023 general election was 26% of the total deductions between January 2020 penalty to Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, contrary to analysis showed that 280 billion naira was saved in July 2020. It reduced to 160 billion naira in August, 80 billion naira in September, and 180 billion naira in October, and 80 billion naira in November of the same year. In December 2022, a total sum of 120 billion naira was saved in the excess account. This further increased to 285 billion naira in January 2023 and 120 billion naira in February. African Development Bank Group has approved a loan of $500 million to the federal government to finance the first phase of the Economic Governance and Energy Transition Support Program. EJET SP is an initiative aimed at accelerating the transformation of country's electricity in the implementation of Nigeria's new Electricity Act and the Nigerian Energy Transition Plan. Nigeria launched its Energy Transition Plan in August 2022, and in June 2023, it passed the new Electricity Act. The plan envisions the development of 250 gigawatts of installed electricity capacity by 2050, with 90% of this capacity being renewable. It aims to provide clean cooking solutions to the bulk of the population using liquefied petroleum gas, biogas, biofuels like ethanol, and electric cook stoves. The EJET SP will support these policies by delivering much-needed upgrades to Nigeria's electricity infrastructure and fast-tracking the transition of millions of households and businesses to cleaner renewable energies. These are the latest initiatives aimed at supporting the country's economic growth, poverty reduction, and climate action efforts. ActionAid Nigeria has urged the federal and state governments to enhance the country's agricultural sector and adopt a budget that will not be undermined by poor governance. This was a fallout of National Stakeholders Consultative Forum on the 2025 agricultural budget hosted by ActionAid Nigeria in collaboration with GES, Oxfam Nigeria, the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, and Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, and ECOWAS Commission. At the three-day event, participants called on the federal and state executives, the National Assembly, and the State Houses of Assembly to scale up public investment in agriculture and ensure timely consideration, passage, and timely budget releases and utilization as a strategic approach to increase food production, reduce hunger and poverty, and achieve the Maputo-Malabo commitments. They suggested aligning the National Agricultural Transformation and Innovation Policy with the targets and indicators of the Biennial Review to ensure Nigeria meets them in the coming days, including ensuring it is gender sensitive and responsive by providing line items for the implementation of the National Gender Policy in agriculture that addresses specific challenges that affect women farmers differently from men. In addition, the firm urged lawmakers to avoid lumping up the budget for women farmers and other groups such as youths. The stakeholders called for federal and state government to invest more in agriculture to address the strategic areas of investment that would increase the agricultural GDP to at least 6%. They also urged state government, local government levels to be recognized in the overall determination of the country's commitment to the CAADP and enable accurate data for the Biennial Review reporting. The forum noted that there is a need to strengthen the monitoring of agricultural project implementation in the budget by all relevant stakeholders, which includes the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, states. Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fabemi, has stated that the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning was looking into improving budgetary allocation to the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria in 2025 to help tackle its funding challenges. He disclosed this at the just concluded management retreat of the council in Lagos, which was sponsored by the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program. The Ministry of Justice was working hard to improve the funding of the Legal Aid Council as part of the effort to strengthen justice administration in the country. The minister stated that since he assumed office, he had been determined to champion the cause of legal aid and make efforts to rejuvenate and assist it in achieving its mandate. According to the minister, there is a need to build the capacity of the council because everything is changing and it cannot give what it does not have. He vowed to continue assisting the Legal Aid Council, urging lawyers in the country to volunteer to assist the council by offering pro bono services, especially in rural areas. Fabemi said the council was established to render legal services to the less privileged, especially those whose income is less than the minimum wage. Also, the Director General of the Council, Aliyu Abubakar, disclosed that the agency was for the recruitment, noting that it was only ironing out the grey areas pointed out. Abubakar added that the ministry had given the Council the go-ahead to work toward improving its budgetary allocation. He appealed to the AGF to continue to support the Council to be able to provide legal services for the less privileged in the country. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. And you can connect with us on and watch us on ATN socials. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X former Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Its Chief Executive Officer, Jude Chiemeka, disclosed this during a panel session of the launch of AfriVest 2024 Banking Sector Themed Recapitalization Catalyst for a One Chip.